At the top of this hierarchy is the epic. Epics are used to represent large-scale business initiatives. These could be comprehensive projects, high-level programs, or strategic efforts. You could think of an epic as the big picture view. It gives us a clear start and end point and sets the strategic context for all related work. Epics are broken down into features, which define specific pieces of new functionality to be delivered. Features are then further decomposed into what are called user stories or requirements or backlog items that represent high-level requirements from the perspective of the end user. These user stories or backlog items are then subdivided into what are called tasks, which describe the specific actionable work needed to implement a user story or feature. So this hierarchical structure, the epic, feature, user story, and task, is key to maintaining a consistent flow of value to the customer. More importantly, it ensures team alignment and clarity on day-to-day execution across development, testing, and delivery. Now, Microsoft Azure DevOps supports several predefined process models, each with its own set of work item types. Now, I'm on the learn.microsoft for default processes and process templates, and I'm going to scroll down till I get to the default processes. Again, these are built-in processes that come with Azure DevOps. There are 4. The basic process is the simplest and most lightweight that includes an epic, issue, and a task. It's ideal for small teams or minimal process overload. Now, the Agile process is designed for iterative and user-focused development. It includes, you can see here, the epic, the feature, and so forth, because the user story is default to only the Agile process. So as we move from the Agile process down to what's called the Scrum process, includes an epic, a feature, and not a user story, but a product backlog item. It's great for teams that are practicing those strict Scrum rituals, such as the daily Scrum, backlog planning, sprint reviews, retrospectives, and so forth. And then we move from the Scrum process to the CMMI process, which stands for Capability Maturity Model Integration. That's best suited for enterprise-grade projects with heavier compliance needs. With the CMMI model, you have the requirement and some additional work items, such as the change request, issue, risk, and review. Again, you can create your own custom work items, which I'm going to demonstrate. So again, each process template comes with pre-configured work item types, allowing organizations to select a framework that aligns with their preferred delivery methodology. Now I'm going to navigate down, and I'm going to talk about the workflow states. And you have a workflow state for each process: the Agile, the Basic, the Scrum, the CMMI. Let me focus on the Agile process, since that is the process that we're going to be using throughout the course. So the Agile process workflow in Azure DevOps follows a straightforward, predefined lifecycle. The state of new represents that the work item is logged as a new item, so it may need to be reviewed, estimated, and/or prioritized. The next state is active. This is where the work begins. Development and unit testing, for example, are in progress. The resolve state is where development is complete and the item moves into functional validation or testing, such as user acceptance testing. The closed state means that the work item has passed all required validations and is considered complete. The remove state represents that the work item is no longer required and is taken out of the backlog, typically by a product owner or a stakeholder. These states apply consistently across the epics, features, and user stories, ensuring standardized tracking and reporting across all levels of work. So now that we've covered the theoretical structure and taxonomy of DevOps processes, let's move into Azure DevOps, where I'll demonstrate how these workflows are applied in practice using Azure boards.